of Massachusetts. Congratulations.
Let's give these kids a big round of applause here in our Ayrshire ring. A real nice quality heifer show we've had here this morning. I've pulled 4 heifers off the rail here just to kind of spotlight what we had here in our Ayrshire heifer show today. A lot of quality throughout. I admire heifers that are straight in their lines. They have that style and balance about them, but they're also correct in their parts. They got to have some width about them. They've got to have that drop and openness to the rib. We are looking for dairy animals, so yes, we do like them to have a little bit of femininity about them as well. I'm going to go out and congratulate our junior champion heifer, reserve, and honorable mention in that order. If you would please just give these kids a big round of applause. I know they've put a lot of hard work into the show today. This summer yearling heifer that I'm going to win the show here, our heifer show with today. A heifer that when she walked in the ring, she just grabs your attention. You love the correctness of lines, the correctness of parts that this heifer possesses. And it's those having the least amount of faults out here in the ring today that gets her these honors. I'm following for our reserve, a heifer that you really love the style and balance. I do grant that the heifer in reserve maybe tracks out a little nicer on those rear legs at times than our junior champion heifer, but this junior champion heifer is just a tremendous heifer and hard to get around today. For reserve over honorable mention, it's that overall length, the overall correctness in that rump, being a little more level from hooks to pins, and just the way she handles those rear legs today to get her over this really long ultra dairy heifer that we have for honorable mention. But 3 really quality heifers here that are going to top your Ayrshire Junior show today.
In the Holstein spring heifer calves, 5 heifers to work with here, all heifers with tons of balance and style. The heifer that starts the class does so quite handily with her size and scale and strength. There's just so much heifer here that she goes to the top of the class with that strength and size. She has a distinct advantage over the second place heifer, being taller at the front end and longer from end to end. She's also a bit wider through the hooks and pins, and just a wider made heifer through the front end as well. Really love the second place heifer here. She's got tons of style, such a straight, beautiful top line, a beautiful rump structure, and tons of balance. And she has an advantage in overall front end blending to place over the heifer in third. She blends more smoothly through the front end and shoulder. She's fuller in the crops and is just sharper over those withers when you get behind them. The heifer in third, you love the width that she has. She's got a wider rump structure than the heifer in fourth. Additionally, I prefer the dairy quality of the heifer in third. She's more feminine through her throat and neck and carrying less condition today than the April heifer there in fourth. And then fourth over fifth is a relatively close placing, but an April-born calf over a full-age calf here in fourth and fifth, with tons more width and strength and size and capacity than the really stylish white heifer coming out in fifth. A beautiful group of spring heifer calves for the Holstein breed.
We in our Brown Swiss show here, just two calves, two entries here in our spring calf class. But wow, what two quality entries! If this is any indication of what our Brown Swiss show is going to be like here this afternoon, I'm excited about it. Kind of a, like I said, a close placing, but this heifer that I'm winning with, you love the style and balance this heifer has. It's the way she handles her shoulder, just being a little nicer, a little tighter and neater in that shoulder region today than our second, this long heifer that's coming out in second. I also give the first place heifer an advantage, just having a little more natural set and to her hock today when she tracks out on the move. Heifer in second, when she gets standing in line, she maybe gets a little straight on that hock, but like I said, I don't want to pick at her. She's a really long, beautiful frame heifer, a really nice class of spring calves.
Results of our Ayrshire Junior Champion. Our junior champion was Aslan Farr from Vermont, and our reserve junior champion was Leah Ribner Martin from Rhode Island. Results of our Brown Swiss calf class. In first place was Olivia Caruso from Maine, and in second place, Kirby Nichols from Massachusetts. our Holstein spring calf class. In first place was Morgan Whitney from Massachusetts. Second place was Cameron Caruso from Maine. And in third place was Caitlin Hubbard from Massachusetts.
Over here in our brown Swiss ring, if this young lady lead her heifer out. Give these kids a round of applause. Nice class of heifers here. The young lady I'm starting off the class with, a heifer that for me has the least amount of faults here in the class today. A heifer, maybe she's just got a little bit extra cover on her, but when you break them down and really analyze them, a heifer that has very few holes, and that's what gets her to the top of the class today for me. First over second, it's that advantage in just overall confirmation, overall correctness, and especially the correctness through that rump structure today over this really pretty long-framed heifer than second. Second over third, it's the advantage in having a little more width about her, a little more width through that chest, and carrying that width through her chest floor all the way back through her rump today over this really long-framed heifer coming out in third. I told this young ladies here, all four of the young ladies here in line today, I kind of had two sets of heifers, a pair at the top and a pair that fit together at the bottom of the class. The advantage over third over fourth is just the overall width. I give the young lady in third having more width through that chest over this really long, pretty stylish heifer that we have here in fourth. But again, nice class in your Brown Swiss show. Only one entry here in our Brown Swiss Summer Yearling class, but a really nice entry. You love the style and balance this heifer has, the straightness lines she has, and definitely a heifer that could definitely take some more competition here in our Brown Swiss show today. Congratulations. Over here in our Brown Swiss ring, 6 quality entries in our spring yearling class. Give these kids a round of applause. Really nice class here. But the young lady that I'm starting off the class with, a heifer that kind of comes to the top quite naturally for me today. A heifer, when she walks in the ring, she not only has that ring style and presence, but she also has the substance about her, the straightness of lines, and the correctness of parts to get her to the top of the class today. And it's that advantage in just being a little cleaner, a little more angular, a little more naturally dairy than this big, strong, powerful heifer here in second. The heifer in second, I give her the advantage over this dairy heifer in third. It's just that overall mass, that overall width, and the correctness of parts, especially through that front end, having a little more natural width through that front end than this real angular heifer coming out in third. The young lady here in third with this heifer, really pretty angular calf. Like to see more of this calf today. I told the young lady to take her home, feed her this winter, grow this heifer because she really doesn't have too many holes in her. But it's that overall angularity and correctness of lines that brings her over this big, powerful heifer here in fourth. This heifer in fourth, I told this young lady, real big, powerful, strong heifer. Just like to clean her up all the way throughout to get her any higher today. But again, a nice quality spring yearling heifer class.
Over in the Holstein ring, a really nice group of winter calves here, and I think there's three or four pretty good heifers here at the start of the class, but the speckled heifer works her way to the top of the class quite handily with her overall dairy quality and openness of rib and flatness of bone. She has more length of neck today than the red heifer. She's also flatter and more open in the rear ribbing, and just a cleaner cut, heifer carrying especially less condition over the hips and pins today than the red heifer. The red heifer in second, I really love her style and balance. She's super straight out over her top line and has tons of spring and depth and openness of rib. She has an advantage over the heifer in third, being a touch straighter over the top line, especially in the loin as she moves around the ring. Also carrying a little less condition today than the really tall, long-bodied heifer in third. Third and fourth, I switched a couple of times here, but I feel much more comfortable with the black heifer, placing over the speckled heifer in fourth. She's got more length of body. She blends more smoothly through the front end and shoulder. She has more width and strength, especially through the front end. The heifer in fourth can give you some really stylish looks. She's extremely clean cut and angular, a heifer that has a beautiful rump structure. I'd like to just see her track a little naturally straighter over the top line and maybe give her a little more body condition today to give her more appearance of strength, but a nice heifer there in fourth. Fourth placing over fifth for that size and scale. She's got a more uphill run. She's also more correct in her rump structure and thorough placement, noting the high tail head on the heifer there in fifth. Fifth placing over sixth for her dairy quality. She's more feminine through the throat and neck. She's got more flatness and sweep to her rear rib today. The heifer in sixth, the heifer that has a lot of spring of rib, tons of balance. She's got a little more general appearance as she moves around the ring. A beautiful group of winter calves here in the Holstein breed. Congratulations to all these exhibitors on a nice group.
Two entries here in our Brown Swiss Winter Yearling class. The young man with the winning entry, if he'd go ahead and pull her out, a really nice heifer here. You love the straightness of lines, you love the correctness of parts. It's the overall length of frame that gets her over this really nice heifer here in second. The heifer in second, I told the young lady I really like your heifer, nice heifer here, just like to lengthen her out from nose to tail, and that's exactly what we'd like to do. I also grant that the first heifer just tracks out a little nicer on those rear legs today, having a little more desirable hock or set to her hock today than our second place heifer. But again, two real quality entries here in our Brown Swiss Winter Yearling class.
Results of our Brown Swiss fall calf class. In first place was Grace Below from Connecticut. Second place was Julian Sawyer from Maine. And in third place was Alyssa Hill from Vermont. In our Brown Swiss Summer Yearling class, in first place was Hayden Pike from Massachusetts. In our Brown Swiss Spring Yearling class, in first place was Erica Goodhue from Vermont. Second was Grace Kohler from Massachusetts. And third was Madison Whitney from Massachusetts. And in our Winter Yearling class, in first place was Keenan Tygeson from Vermont. And in second place was Ashlyn Wright from New Hampshire. In our Holstein winter calf class, in first place was Caroline Kirby from Vermont. In third place, Courtney Simpson from Vermont. And in third place, Rachel Bro from Connecticut.
Here in our Brown Swiss show in the fall yearling class, 3 quality entries. This young lady I'm starting the class with, a heifer that just kind of puts it together for me. A heifer that you love the straightness of lines, you love the clean and openness that his heifer has, the open and sweep to her rib, and it's just that overall correctness of parts and the cleanliness that gets her over this big, powerful heifer here in second. The heifer in second, a heifer that's due here in December, getting a little heavier in calf, but you really love the power and the straightness of lines and that length of frame that this heifer in second has. And it's that overall power and that overall width that gets her over this really dairy heifer here in third. The heifer in third, just a couple days out from being in our last class, a short-aged heifer, but a really nice quality entry for this young man.
In our Brown Swiss Fall yearling class, in first place was Ellie Ramirez Richer from Vermont. Second place was Lauren Olson from Massachusetts. And in third place was Edward Gowdy from New Hampshire.
In the brown Swiss ring, let's give these kids a big round of applause. Really nice quality classes here in our brown Swiss junior show today. I pulled out several heifers that kind of came to the top of their classes, heifers that stood out in their own right, and I'm going to go out and congratulate your junior champion, honorable mention, I'm sorry, junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order. So just trying to make sure everybody's still awake. But junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order. Please congratulate these kids and give them a big round of applause. Not taking anything away from the other heifers that I have out here in the middle of the ring, but for me, these three heifers that I just kind of tapped with your honors here today are three heifers that kind of stood out in their own individual classes. The pair of March calves for your reserve and honorable mention junior champion, I told those young ladies very tight placing in class, and I do carry that on throughout. There's things you like about both these heifers, but congratulations again to all the exhibitors. Really appreciate your hard work in bringing out these quality animals.
Results of our Jersey junior champion. Our junior champion was Ellie Ramirez Richer of Vermont, and reserve junior champion was Olivia Caruso of Maine. Also at this time, our reserve junior champion of the Shorthorn Show was Mariah Johnson from Maine.
Just two entries here in our Guernsey spring calf class, but two really nice entries to start off our Guernsey show. The young lady I'm starting off with, this heifer, you really like this pretty little heifer when she leads out in the class, but it's her advantage in the way she tracks out on those rear legs today. She tracks a little straighter from when viewed from the rear, and also has a little nicer set to that hock today than this really long pretty heifer coming out in second. Not taking anything away from this heifer in second. You love the length of frame. You love the length of neck. Like I said, just like to change the way she handles those rear legs today to get her any higher. Two real quality individuals in our Guernsey show.
In our Guernsey Spring Calf class, in first place was Rachel Meacham from Massachusetts, and in second place, Kylie Els from New Hampshire.
Just one entry here in our Guernsey show, but a real quality entry this young lady has. You love this stylish heifer that when she walked in the ring, you love that long, lean frame that she has, as well as the spring and openness to her rib that she has today, and definitely a heifer that could carry a lot more competition and face a lot more competition in her class today, but really outstanding individual. Just two entries here in our Guernsey ring, but again, two nice quality entries. This young man I'm starting off with, a heifer you love and you admire the length of frame that this heifer has. She's longer through that head and neck and longer through her frame, and I give her that advantage in length of frame and length through her head and neck to put her over this really nice heifer here in second. Heifer in second, like I said, the young lady, just kind of really nice heifer in her own right, kind of ran into a little bit stiffer competition in this class, but two quality individuals.
In our Guernsey ring, in our fall calf class, in first place was Timothy Meacham from Massachusetts, and in second place was Madison Grillo from Connecticut.
Here in our Guernsey ring, again, 2 entries, but 2 nice entries here. The young lady I'm giving the advantage and winning the class with, giving her the advantage of her heifer being just a little longer through her head and neck, a little longer framed than our heifer here in second, and just being a little nicer in that tail setting today than our powerful heifer here in second. But again, 2 quality entries in our Guernsey show.
Over in the Holstein ring, what a beautiful class of fall heifer calves. A lot of quality all the way through, but I think this heifer in first kind of sorts herself to the top of the class for her beautiful side profile and front end. She's got such a beautiful uphill run, such beautiful length of neck, and she's just tied in a little tighter through the shoulder and withers today to place over the black heifer in second. She's got more length and extension through the front end and neck. She blends more smoothly through the shoulder and is fuller in the crops today. But a beautiful balanced heifer to follow in second. You love the profile of this heifer as well, a hard-topped heifer. She has an advantage over the big, powerful heifer in third, being just a bit higher in the chine, right behind the withers there, fuller in the crops. Certainly just a little bit more feminine all the way through, especially through the throat and neck, and she has a flatter, cleaner bone through those rear legs and hocks today. The heifer in third, you really admire the strength and substance and depth and capacity of this heifer, and she uses those advantages in overall size and scale to place over a beautiful, stylish heifer in fourth. The heifer in fourth, the black heifer, just love the femininity, cleanliness, angularity, and straightness of lines that she has, and she uses an advantage in overall length of body from end to end to place over another well-balanced calf in fifth. These heifers in fourth and fifth, I think with another year under their belt, they're going to look really, really good. Just not enough size and strength and capacity today to work up into the first 3 spots. Fifth placing over sixth for her style. She's harder out over the top line. She's more nearly level in the rump than the white heifer in sixth. Sixth placing over seventh on the advantage in overall width and strength. She's wider in the chest floor, deeper in the heart, and she's also wider through the hooks and pins than this stylish heifer coming out in seventh. Seventh and eighth, a pair of really tall and lengthy heifers that just want to give a little more strength and substance and depth of body to work up higher in the class. Again, a beautiful class of fall heifer calves today. Congratulations to all the exhibitors.
In our Guernsey ring, the winner of our winter calf class was Emily Fisher from New Hampshire. In our fall calf class, Timothy Meacham from Massachusetts was first. Madison Grillo from Connecticut was second. In our summer yearling class, Kylie Clock from Maine was first, and in second place was Ainsley Morse from Connecticut.
2 entries here in our Guernsey show, but I did a switch here when I got them side by side. 2 individuals made quite differently, but I'm giving the advantage to this young man if he'd pull his heifer out. A heifer, not the biggest heifer in the class, but a heifer when you really stop and analyze them has the least amount of faults here today. A heifer that you would like the way she carries that her shoulder, being a little smoother blending in the shoulder and through that crop region, and also a little wider through that rump structure and a little more nearly level from hooks to bins and neater in that tail setting today than our long angular heifer in second. But again, 2 quality entries here in your Guernsey show.
In our Guernsey spring yearling class, in first place was Jonathan Cliche from Maine, and in second place was Sophie Bolton from Connecticut. In our Holstein fall calf class, in first place was Cynthia Shaw from Massachusetts. In second place was Molly Callan from Vermont. In third place was Avery Brown from Vermont. In fourth place was Ashley Longus from Connecticut. And in fifth place was Emma Hawks from Maine.
Again, here in our Guernsey ring, 2 individuals that I told these two young individuals out here that totally 2 different kinds of styles of heifers. Go ahead and lead your heifer out, please. Heifer that I'm decided to start with today, you could switch them with the flip of the coin, but the heifer I'm starting off with today maybe holds her loin region a little nicer, a little neater through that tail setting, a little more level through that rump structure, and carries and just a little wider throughout. And it's that overall width and power and strength that gets her over this really extreme long framed heifer that we put here in second. The heifer in second, you love the angularity about this heifer. Again, if you could flip them either way and talk it either way. However, I just prefer the width and the mass of the first place heifer today. Congratulations.
Winner of our Guernsey Fall Yearling class was Lillian Beeman of Connecticut, and second was Christopher Cardis of Connecticut. Currently in the ring is our Guernsey Junior Champion.
Let's give these Guernsey exhibitors a big round of applause. Four really quality individuals I've pulled off to the rail here for our junior champion selection. I'm going to go out and congratulate your junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order. Please give these kids a big round of applause for their efforts today. For me, this winter calf, when she came in the ring, a heifer that I knew was going to have some stiff competition today for another animal to get around her. Just a heifer you really admire. That when she's out on the move, you love the style and balance this heifer has, and it's that openness of rib and angularity that you just admire, and that width of frame and width of rump that you just admire out here today. And it's just that overall width about her, the overall width and correctness of that rump structure that gets over our March calf here that won her classes in her respective class here. This March calf, really nice quality individual. You just like to give her a little more, excuse me, the dust here. You just like to straighten her out over the top line just a little bit more to get her ahead of this beautiful winter calf today. But taking nothing away from our first place fall calf that I made honorable mention, a really long framed heifer, an extreme framed heifer. You love that length of frame she has. Just like to widen her out just a little bit through that front end to get her any higher today. But again, three really quality individuals for your junior champion honors.
In the Holstein Summer Yearling class, a beautiful group of heifers all the way down to the end here. Heifers I would certainly be proud to own. They're all very correct and stylish and pretty much in great body condition for a show today. So I commend all the exhibitors on having a really good group. But the heifer that wins the class does so quite handily. She's got so much style and correctness and dairy quality. It is her advantage in dairy quality and femininity that carries her over the heifer in second. She's got quite a bit less condition over the hips and pins and in the thigh. She also is more feminine through her head and longer and cleaner through her throat and neck today. Additionally, she does have that advantage in openness and spring to the rear ribs. The heifer in second, you love the width and strength and power, and she in turn does have just a bit flatter, cleaner bone today than the really deep-bodied heifer in third. The heifer in second, also a little stretchier heifer from end to end, and I also prefer her rump structure and loin strength and more forward throw placement on the heifer in second. The heifer in third, placing over the heifer in fourth on her extreme depth of body. She's got a lot of sweep to the rear rib. She's got tons of depth of both the fore and rear rib and is carrying less condition today than the white heifer in fourth. Fourth, placing over fifth for her front end. She's taller at the withers and blends more smoothly through the front end and shoulder, and is also just a longer bodied heifer than the heifer in fifth. Fifth, placing over sixth, she in turn has more width and strength and a little more general appearance today as she moves around the ring than the really tall heifer there in seventh. Seventh over eighth, just more heifer, a lot more length of body and stretch. But again, a beautiful group of heifers with some really correct heifers here at the end of the class. Congratulations to these summer yearlings.
Just one entry here to start off our spring heifer calf class in our Jersey show, but a real quality entry that this young lady has. If she'd go ahead and lead her out. Love the square frame this heifer has, the length of frame, and that style and balance and openness of rib. Just a real nice quality individual to start off our Jersey show today.
Results of our Jersey Spring Calf class. In first place was Lydia Schofield from Maine. And results of our Holstein Spring Yearling, Summer Yearling class. In first place was Nathan Parent from Vermont. In second place was Sam Callan from Vermont. In third place was Brian Pila Jr. from Massachusetts. In fourth place was Chelsea Patch from New Hampshire. And in fifth place was Becca Syme from Connecticut.
Here in our Jersey ring, our winter calf class, 7 nice entries. Give these kids a round of applause. I told them we have a little bit of everything, all shapes and sizes, and a wide variety of ages in this class. We've got some that are full aged for the class and some that are 1 week out of being in the previous class. So we take that into consideration when we're evaluating them in the class today. This young lady I'm winning the class with, this is a January heifer, a heifer that's a little shorter aged, but a heifer that you really admire when you break them down, their pieces and parts here. She's one of the most correct heifers here in the class, and a heifer that has that angularity, and it's that overall angularity and cleanliness that carries over this well-made heifer coming out in second. The heifer in second, also a January heifer. When you analyze her, she might not have the most flash to her today, might be just carrying a little bit of extra condition, but when you break her down, just a real correct heifer in her own right. And it's that overall correctness, especially the way she handles those rear legs today, that gets her over this really well-grown and well-made calf coming out in third. The heifer in third, she is full age for this class, but I would like to change the way she tracks out on those rear legs and keep those legs underneath her a little bit nicer to get her any higher today. But it's that advantage in her with the frame and that overall mass that gets her over this really short-aged calf coming out here in fourth. The young man with the heifer in fourth, this is a heifer that's 1 week out of being in that in the previous class here. A heifer that's competing against heifers that are 2 months older than her, but just a really nice angular dairy heifer to round off in that fourth spot today. Congratulations.
In our Jersey winter calf class, in first place was Delaney Terrell from Connecticut. Second place, Rex Ward from New Hampshire. And in third place, Samantha Pila from Massachusetts.
Here in our Jersey ring, just 4 heifers in our fall heifer calf class. This young lady, I did pull them in the first pull and switched them, but this heifer that I'm starting the class off with, a heifer that you just, when you get her in line, has way more width, way more drop to her midsection, way more flank than our really stylish heifer that come out on the move. The heifer I made in second here. The heifer in second, when she's out on the move and on the rail, you really admire the straightness of the lines and the flash that she gives you when she's going around the ring. But when you get behind this heifer, you'd like to widen her out from end to end and just change the way those hocks, she tracks on those rear legs, especially when viewed from the rear. But it's that overall angularity and that overall correctness in that rump structure that gets her over this really long framed heifer here in third. Heifer in third, I told the young man, really long stretchy heifer. You admire the head and neck on this heifer and the length of frame this heifer possesses. Just like to change that rump structure and her throw placement to get her any higher today. Third over fourth, it's that correctness of overall straightness of lines, especially particularly harder in that loin region today than this really black heifer coming out in fourth.
In the Holstein spring yearling class, again, a really beautiful group of heifers here. Switch these first 3 around a little bit, but I really think the most correct heifers are the heifers here in first and second. The red heifer just has a little more style, a little more femininity. She's a little bit harder in the loin and does track a touch straighter on her rear legs. I also think she's got a little bit more femininity about her head and a longer neck today than that big, powerful heifer in second. The heifer in second, placing over the heifer in third on her rump structure. She's quite a bit wider through the rump. She's more nearly level from hips to pins, and she does walk more comfortably on those rear legs today than this super stylish, super dairy heifer in third. Obviously, I really admire the heifer in third. I did pull her first in the first time around, but when you get behind her, there's just not enough width between the pins and not enough comfortableness on the rear legs to keep her in that first place spot for me today. But she does use that advantage in femininity and extreme dariness to place over the heifer in fourth. She's got so much more sweep to the rear rib. She's quite a bit cleaner, especially sharper all the way through than a really balanced heifer coming out in fourth. The heifer in fourth, she in turn is more feminine through the throat and neck than the big deep heifer coming out in fifth. Fifth placing over sixth, I prefer the rump structure on the black heifer in sixth, on the black heifer in fifth over the heifer in sixth. She's more level from hips to pins, noting a touch high pins here on the white heifer leaving the ring, but a beautiful group of spring yearlings all the way through. Congratulations.
Results of our Jersey Fall Calf class: in first place, Abigail Carson from Vermont. Second place, Hillary Mitchell from Vermont. Third place, Jack Zena from Massachusetts. And in fourth place, Kimberly Underhill from New Hampshire. Results of our Holstein spring yearling: in first place, Ryder Hoffman from Vermont. In second place, Carter Hoffman from Vermont. In third place, Katie Blake from Vermont. In fourth place, Colby Simpson from Vermont. And in fifth place, Blake Hoffman from Vermont. Blake Lee Hoffman from Vermont.
Over in the winter yearling class here, just 4 heifers, but 4 really correct heifers today. But I think the heifer in first does so quite handily on her exceptional style and balance and femininity. She just has such a beautiful front end, so much sharpness through the shoulder, very sharp over the withers, and such a long, clean neck. And she uses that advantage in dairiness and femininity to place over the really wide-rumped heifer in second. Additionally, the heifer in first, just a bit taller at the front end, a little more uphill run today. Second placing over third in a close placing, I prefer the way this heifer in second handles her rear legs on the move. She tracks straighter on those rear legs. She's a little more central in her thorough placement today than the really angular heifer in third. Third keeps it a close placing because she is a bit more feminine, does have a little more depth to the rear rib and is carrying a touch less condition. Third placing over the red heifer, and fourth using that balance and depth. She's deeper in the heart and she has more depth through the rear rib and flank today than this really straight topped, good rumped heifer coming out in fourth.
In our winter yearling Holstein class, in first place was Emily Sign from Connecticut. Second place, Julie Parent from Vermont. Third place, Haley Michaud from Vermont. And in fourth place, Nathan Cohn from Connecticut.
Over here in our Jersey ring, took a little extra time on this class, but a real quality class. Give these kids a big round of applause. 2 heifers in particular that came to the top quite handily for me today. The heifer I'm starting off with, a heifer that you just admire that openness to her midsection. She's got the advantage in having more spring to her midsection today. And is also, when viewed from the side, walking a little nicer on those rear legs, having a little more natural flex to the hock today over this really long square-framed heifer here in second. The heifer in second, there's a lot of things you admire about this heifer. You love the width about her. You love that sweep to her rib. Just like to see a little more spring to that midsection today and see her handle those rear legs a little nicer. She's given this poor young lady quite the workout today, maybe not handling herself as nicely and showing herself off as nicely as well. The heifer in third, I told this young lady, a really, really nice heifer in her own right. Ran into some pretty stiff competition in this class, but just a really well-made, stylish, straight-lined heifer that we have here in third. And it's those straightness of lines and correctness of parts, as well as just being a little nicer in that rump structure and having a little more width and power throughout that gets her over the real dairy heifer coming out in fourth. Heifer in fourth over fifth. I give her the advantage in just being a little nicer in that tail setting and having a little nicer natural slope to that rump than the real big, powerful heifer here in fifth. But again, a really nice class in our Jersey show.
Just a single entry here in the Holstein fall yearling class. A heifer that's an appropriate body condition for the show today. A heifer with a lot of length of body. Certainly I'd like to give her a lot more depth and spring to the rear rib today and have her handle her rear legs just a little bit nicer. But again, nice body condition for a show heifer.
Results of our Jersey Summer Yearling class: in first place, Abigail Reen from Vermont. In second place, Caitlin Poitras from Massachusetts. In third place, Maddie Subic from Massachusetts. In fourth place, Colton Stark from New Hampshire. And in fifth place, Griselda Luther Houghton from New Hampshire. In our Holstein Fall Yearling class, in first place was Sydney Rosen from Vermont. Currently in the ring is our Holstein Junior Champions.
over in the Holstein ring, we have our contenders out for junior champion today, and it's just been a really incredible heifer show this afternoon. So before I give some discussion about the heifers I've pulled out, let's give all the exhibitors a nice big round of applause, please. I think the quality has been outstanding in the heifer show today, and I think there's some really nice animals that I didn't pull out as well, but I think I pulled out the 4 heifers that I think have the most style and balance and correctness of parts for me that might go on to the next level, whether that be another national show or something else. But the heifers I've pulled out are the first place winner calf, the speckled calf up at the head of the line, a heifer with just tons of strength and depth and openness of rib and a lot of quality all the way through. I've also pulled out the first place fall calf, a heifer that has such a beautiful front end and such a long body and long neck and beautiful head carriage, followed by the first place summer yearling, a heifer with tons of balance and such flatness of bone and femininity and cleanliness and angularity all the way through. And then at the end of the line here is that winter yearling with such style and balance and depth, just a heifer that's really blends quite well all the way through. I'll go out and congratulate your junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order, and then give a few reasons after. For me, it's pretty easy selection for junior champion with this winter yearling. She has such a tremendous front end, such dairy quality, such flatness of bone and openness of rib, and just a beautiful, beautiful frame and style all the way through. She ties a bit better together in the front end than the black heifer, the summer yearling, who will be your reserve junior champion. Additionally, the winter yearling has just a touch more depth of heart, and I also prefer her rear legs as she has less set to her leg and does track straighter on those rear legs as she moves around the ring. For reserve junior champion, the summer yearling over the fall calf for honorable mention, I prefer a little bit of slope from hips to pins on the summer yearling. She's just a little bit stronger in the loin. She's also got just a touch more depth and openness to both her fore and rear rib. Certainly the fall calf again fits in for honorable mention for that stretch and beautiful front end that she has. Congratulations to these animals on their junior champion and reserve junior champion honors, and again, I give them a round of applause.
Over here in our Jersey ring, our winter yearling class, a really deep quality class with quite a few head in here, and I commended these young exhibitors for, I said this has probably been the deepest class all day through and through. The heifer that I'm starting off the class with is a heifer that has that combination of both style and width and of frame and strength. And it's that overall strength that gets her over this really nice made heifer here in second. The heifer in second, you admire this heifer when out on the view from the side. You love the dairiness, the cleanliness through her head and neck. It's just that overall width that she lacks to get in that spot today. However, it's her advantage in rump structure and that levelness from hooks to pins and that width through that rump and the way she tracks out on those rear legs that gets her over this really long heifer here in third. Third over fourth, I give the third place heifer the advantage in just having a little more strength, a little more width, a little more power and mass through that front end and carrying that width all the way throughout. This really long angular framed heifer here in fourth, a heifer you really admire from the side view. When you get behind her, like you said, you'd like to give her a little more width throughout and change the way she handles those rear legs today to get her any higher. Again, a really deep quality class in your winter yearlings heifer class of the Jersey show. Congratulations.
Results of our Holstein Junior Champion. Our Junior Champion is Emily Syme of Connecticut, and our Reserve Junior Champion is Nathan Parent of Vermont.
Just 3 entries here in our Jersey Fall yearling class, but 3 nice entries. This young lady in first, I'm going to start the class with her, an October heifer, a heifer that's really strong and powerful, and you admire that strength that she carries throughout, as well as being really strong over her top and having the walking out and tracking out on a nice set of feet and legs here today. It's that overall size and scale and that overall mass that gets her over this really nice stylish heifer here in second. This heifer in second, I told the young lady really like this heifer, just like to see a little bit more of her today to get her any higher. Heifer in second over the heifer in third. On her overall conformation and correctness through that rump structure and the way she tracks out on those rear legs today. But again, 3 quality individuals in your Jersey Fall yearling class.
Starting the Holstein cow show off with just a single entry in the senior 2-year-old class. What a beautiful side profile this cow has. Such a nice uphill run, and she's got such femininity and clean cutness for being fresh. 10 months last November she calved. A really beautiful 4-udder attachment. When you get behind her, you sure would like to see more bloom and width and capacity to the rear udder, but as the cow's been milking for 10 months, you can certainly appreciate how the udder has changed in shape. But again, a beautiful open-ribbed cow with tons of style. Congratulations.
Winner of our Holstein 2-year-old heifer was Trevor Clapp from, oh no, that isn't it. Winner of Jersey Winter Yearling. In first place, Reagan Johnson from New Hampshire. Second place, Colleen Underhill from New Hampshire. And in third place, Tracy Cohen from New Hampshire. Results of the Jersey Fall Yearling. In first place, Bree Shea from Connecticut. Second place, Natalie Atkins from Vermont. And in third place, Kyla Devon Dayon from Rhode Island. In our Holstein 2-year-old class, in first place, Curtis Kobecki from Massachusetts.
In the Holstein 3-year-old class, a nice pair of dairy clean cut cows here, and I think it's a relatively close placing, but I think the red cow puts all the pieces together just a little bit nicer today for me to be the first place cow in the class. She's got a little more depth of heart. She blends a touch smoother through the front end and shoulder. When it comes to the udder, I prefer her teat size and shape. She's got a little bit shorter front teat, and she does have a tighter forwarder attachment. Certainly when you get behind the cows, you admire the black cow for her extreme height and width of rear udder attachment, which keeps it a close placing today, but a nice pair of dairy and angular cows in the 3-year-old class.
For our junior champion selection here in our Jersey ring, let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause. Really quality heifer show here in our Jersey's breed today. I pulled 4 heifers off to the rail that, for me, they have the combination of style, balance, and ring presence, as well as correctness of parts that got them to the top of their classes here today. I'm going to go out and shake the hand of your junior champion, your reserve, and honorable mention in that order. Please give these kids a big round of applause for their efforts here. This pair of heifers, when they were in class, they were 2 really nice heifers and 2 quality individuals. I knew it was going to take some nice heifers to get around them here today. The heifer that I made junior champion today, again, as I said in class, she just has that advantage in the way she tracks out on those rear legs when viewed from the side, and has a little more spring to that midsection today than this really long-framed heifer coming out in reserve. The heifer in reserve, heifer that's just not handling herself the best today, but a heifer that you just admire in your own right. Taking nothing away from the spring heifer calf, I think the spring heifer calf's a really nice made individual. You love the length of frame, the sweep and openness to her rib. Congratulations, this young lady, on her young calf. Congratulations to all our exhibitors today here in our Jersey breed. Really nice show.
In the Holstein breed today, just 3 cows exhibited. That'll be exhibiting here for senior champion. That's your first place 2-year-old, and then the first and second place 3-year-old cows that we just completed here in class. Beautiful cows all the way through, a lot of quality, some strength and substance there, especially in the 2-year-old, and really good dairy frames here on the second and the second 2 cows in the lineup. I'll go out and congratulate your senior champion, followed by your reserve senior champion and honorable mention. The senior 2-year-old will be your senior champion cow today. Even though she's not the fullest when it comes to the rear udder, I think she has the most correctness of frame and feet and legs to easily be your senior champion. And she does go over the red 3-year-old cow for being taller in the front end, having less set to her rear leg, and just having tons more style and balance all the way around. Certainly, again, the 4 udder is good enough for me on this senior 2-year-old as well to keep her in the senior champion spot. And then again, for reserve senior champion over honorable mention, for the same reasons I mentioned in class, the strength of forwarder attachment, the correctness of rump structure and leg, and the depth of body in the red cow over the black cow. Congratulations to these youth exhibitors. Let's give them again a nice round of applause.
Just 2 entries. We have 2 entries here in our Ayrshire Senior 2 class, but 2 quality cows these young men just brought out here. The cow I'm winning the class with, a cow that you like the overall length of frame, the overall style and balance this cow has, and the way she tracks out on those rear legs. But she has the advantage in mammary system being higher and wider in that rear udder attachment and holding those teats a little more squarely on those rear quarters today than this really dairy cow coming out in second. The cow in second, again, you admire that quality, that dairy, that open rib that she has. Just like to see her a little longer in that fore udder attachment and have her teats a little more squarely placed to get any higher today.
Over in the Holstein ring, the senior champion cows have been joined by the junior and reserve junior champion heifers from earlier in the show this afternoon. And again, I think the quality is really, really good in these 4 individuals. Again, let's give them a nice round of applause. I really appreciate the quality of the winter yearling and that summer yearling there, and I think that they're going to have another day in the show ring ahead of them when they put udders on underneath. But I really appreciate this 2-year-old, and she'll be your senior, your grand champion Holstein today. So congratulations here. I do think it gets close between the 3-year-old and the winter yearling, but I have to give credit to this 3-year-old cow. It's a lot of work to get a cow ready for the show and take care of them and bring them out for a youth show. And she does have a beautiful mammary system and does have a lot of dairiness. So I will stick with the red cow for honor or for reserve grand champion of the show today. Congratulations to these 2 cows for being grand and reserve. And again, congratulations to the junior champions.
Here in our grand champion for our Ayrshire breed, we had our junior champion that's returned to the ring, a really quality individual, and then our 2 cows that were just named senior champion. They were in their respective class, the senior 2-year-old class. For me today, the grand champion is going to be your winning senior 2-year-old. When you have a cow that's this nice in her frame and put quality udder on you, it's hard to not recognize that. However, for my reserve, I am going to follow with my junior champion. When you have a heifer that's this extreme and this nice in all of her parts, you have to recognize her for those sort of honors. So congratulations, our cow winning senior 2-year-old is going to be your grand champion. Our junior champion is going to be our reserve grand champion today. Just one junior 2-year-old here in our Brown Swiss Cow Show, an unfresh junior 2 due here in December, but a real big, strong quality individual to win the class. Just one entry here again in our Brown Swiss Show in our senior 2 class, but a really nice quality entry. A nice young cow that's got all the right parts, straightness of lines, and a really nice attached udder. Congratulations. We only have 2 individuals out here for our selection for our senior champion in our Brown Swiss Show, but 2 really nice individuals. Give these youngsters a round of applause. Today for me, I'm going to go with the cow that naturally she has calves. She's freshened in. She's showed that she's going to have improved herself as far as having a great mammary system. This young lady with the senior 2 is going to be your senior champion, followed by your unfresh 2-year-old for your reserve.
Senior and the grand champion for the Ayrshire breed. Senior and grand champion goes to Harry Klug from Connecticut. Reserve was Austin Norris from Massachusetts.
We have these 3 individuals out here representing our Brown Swiss breed today for your grand champion selection. Give these kids a big round of applause for their efforts today. Our grand champion today, I'm going to stick with that, with our senior champion to be our grand champion individual. Like a nice young cow that's got I think a nice future with a quality mammary system. I'm going to follow with our junior champion as our reserve, a really outstanding heifer, a heifer that stood out in our quality heifer show today. But 3 quality, really nice individuals to represent our Brown Swiss breed out here in the middle of the ring.
In the brown Swiss breed, our senior champion was Madeline Jeremia from Connecticut. Our reserve senior champion was Bradley Smith from Maine. Our grand champion Swiss was Madeline Jeremia from Connecticut. And our reserve grand champion Swiss was Ellie Ramirez Richer from Vermont.
Just one individual here in our Guernsey cow show today, a junior 2-year-old. This young lady brought a really high quality individual out. You really like this long frame cow, and you admire the correctness to her mammary system that she has. As being the only cow here in the show, she is also going to be your senior champion of your Guernsey show today. Congratulations.
In our Jersey breed, our junior champion was Abigail Reen from Vermont, and our reserve junior champion was Caitlin Poitras from Massachusetts. In our Holstein breed, our senior and grand champion was Curtis Kepke from Massachusetts, and our reserve senior and our reserve grand champion was Ben Booten from Vermont.
Let's give these Guernsey exhibitors a round of applause. The young lady for your grand champion at Guernsey today, I'm going to go with the young lady with the senior champion. This junior 2-year-old cow, just a really nice moderate frame cow. You admire the long length of frame that this cow has, as well as, like I said, the quality mammary system that she possesses. And it's that overall advantage in the mammary system that's going to put her over this our junior champion heifer for our reserve grand. Taking nothing away from our heifer, a really outstanding individual in her own right. However, I'd look forward to seeing her calve in again in the future to get that grand champion spot. Congratulations to all our exhibitors today.
In our Guernsey breed, congratulations to our grand champion, Emily Myers from Rhode Island. And our reserve grand champion is Emily Fisher from New Hampshire.
Just one entry here in our Jersey Senior 2 class, but a really nice frame cow. Just a cow that's just recently fresh, only fresh almost a month here now. But just a cow that you'd like to see here a little bit later in lactation once she gets the swelling out of her udder and gets going. But a really nice quality individual to win your class. Here in our Jersey show, two really quality individuals in our 3-year-old class in our Jersey show today. I'm giving the advantage to this young lady if she'd pull this cow out. This cow here that I'm winning the class with, a cow that kind of puts it together for me today, a cow that's got the least amount of faults, a cow that's just recently fresh, not even 2 months fresh yet, just maybe needs a touch more time. But you admire the straightness of lines, the length of frame, the spring to the rib, and the way she tracks out on those rear legs, as well as her overall mammary attachments. And it's that overall package that gets her over this really nice cow in second. The cow in second, you admire this cow. You'd maybe like to lengthen her out in her neck, give her a little more lift in that front end today, but a really dairy cow that you could tell is working hard. She was fresh here in March, but you'd just like to see her track out a little nicer on those rear legs today and give her a little more hardness over that top to get her any higher. But two really quality individuals here in our 3-year-old class. Let's congratulate these kids here in the Jersey show. 3 outstanding individuals for your senior champion selection. For me today, I'm going to stick with the pair of 3-year-olds. They were tight in class, and I'm going to stay with them. The two really quality individuals, taking nothing away from our 2-year-old cow that's just here fresh, not very long. I think get her out later in lactation. She's a cow that could definitely be in the run here for our grand champion or senior champion honors today. But again, 3 really quality individuals here in our Jersey show. Congratulations to these exhibitors. For our grand champion selection, our Jersey show, our junior champions return to the ring. And like I said, in class, 2 heifers that really rose to the top of their class quite handily, and 2 really nice heifers in their own right. However, when you have quality cows like we had in our show today, your cows are going to be your grand and reserve, your pair of 3-year-olds, grand and reserve honors. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors again.
In our Jersey breed, our senior and grand champion is Mackenzie Schofield from Maine. And our reserve senior and reserve grand is Haley Christie from New Hampshire. Now in the ring is going to be our Supreme Heifer Champion. We're looking for our junior champion from each breed.
Let's give these exhibitors a huge round of applause. We've had a quality show in both rings, end to end, and these exhibitors are what are out here representing each of their respective breeds, being the top in their respective breeds here. So, huge congratulations to all the exhibitors here. Lori and I have gone around, talked, conferred here, and taking nothing away from the rest of the individuals in the ring, but there's one individual for us today that's the most ready, the most on the money, the heifer that stood out in her respective breed quite handily, and a heifer that we feel is today our supreme heifer, and that is going to be our Ayrshire. Congratulations. A heifer, when you get her out here, as we said, taking nothing away from the other individuals in the ring, but the heifer that is the most ready today, and a heifer that I think is going to go on and do great things in her own breed. So congratulations to you.
Congratulations to Aislinn Farr from Vermont.
For Supreme Champion of the Open show today, or of the junior show, of the adults, sorry, I am just flustered all to pieces here. We have the 5 competitors out here for Supreme Champion of the Cow Show today. Jenny and I have conferred a little bit, and we really think there's been a nice group of cows represented all the way through for each of the individual breeds here in the Cow Show. But to us, there's pretty much just one cow that's really on the money all the way from start to finish in terms of dairy quality, the udder attachments, the soundness of her feet and legs. And that's your Jersey cow, and she'll be your Supreme Champion today.
Congratulations to our Supreme Champion cow, Mackenzie Schofield from Maine.